Hello and welcome back to Cosmoteer. My name is Pooks and today we're checking out railguns. So railguns, when you look at them and you consider them in the tooltips, and you hold Alt to do that in the building screen, you look at them and it says down the bottom, note damage, penetration, range, projectile speed, and power usage are increased with each additional railgun accelerator. So to make a railgun, you have a railgun loader, you have the accelerator component, and it's got a little table there about the buffs. And then we've got the railgun launcher, which you have at the end. So when you have a railgun ship, it looks kind of like this. It's a very, hopefully better, where you have the launcher at the bottom, all the accelerators, and then the launcher at the end. And you can see by hovering over it, I'm getting a 304% buff, which is, according to the table here, the theoretical maximum. But it's not actually the longest railgun you can make in Cosmoteer, practically within build limits, because you can see we've got a little bit extra there. So I'm on a mission today to say, well, what's the best railgun that we can make? Is this table accurate? What happens? Yeah, that's what we're doing. Anyway, first, I'm going to take us to a little bit of a good old Excel table here. So this is the table that it comes across with the buff. So I'm giving an indication of what happens to the base damage here, right? So nominally it says in the tooltip that it will do $10,000 damage per shot. With the buff, that's 20% extra damage, so we end up with 12,000 damage with just one railgun accelerator. Put that to its maximum, or theoretical maximum, or at least the table maximum, 30 modules means a 304% increase. Yeah, it's going to be expensive doing this, but it's 40,000 damage a shot. So I'm wondering, is this the case, or does it cap out somewhere? Has it been capped? I've read things on the internet that tells me that it has been capped. I've read things where it's not been, but that may have been due to modding. So I'm on a mission to find out today, and you're going to find out too. So going back to Cosmoteer, we have 3 ships prepared for you today. We have the Testing Rail 38. This has got the longest rail ship you can create, right? We've run out of building space. This is in vanilla. Maybe if you're working with a modded one, then yeah, it'll do different things. But vanilla, we apparently get a 359% bonus to all that good stuff. So range, damage, penetration. So really, you would expect this to just pass through any shot, right? And outrange everything to a ridiculous degree. You chuck a bunch of engines in this and no one will ever catch you, and you can just laugh at them, and you run away and snipe them from a distance. As long as you can see them, of course. But if you had little disposable scout ships, that'd be cool. The next one up is the one that's the extended maximum. So it's saying, okay, according to these tables, we have yeah, that didn't work out well. According to this table here, it goes up to 30. So maybe that's the actual maximum, and despite it saying that there's more percentage, maybe there's not. And then finally, we have a railgun with just 8, right? Let's just get 8 on it. Now, what I'm going to do is first, we're paused. Yep, good. We're going to switch the allegiance of these over to be the enemy. So these are just armor blocks. That's all it is. Solid armor blocks with a little guy in the middle so it continues to not be considered junk when we're firing at it. We're going to line these guys up so that we're actually kind of regular on target, if you will. I want to make sure that that's happening. So we're all on the straight and narrow here. I'm going to make sure that we're not firing just yet. In fact, I'm going to set that to be paused. Likewise here, we're going to set it to be paused. I don't want to fire it just yet. And likewise here, we're going to set it to be paused, because we're going to make sure they're all in position, all neatly lined up, ready for this testing. So we would expect the one on the left to drastically outperform both of these guys. This one should still outperform this guy based on the table. So we're testing damage this time, and we're also testing penetration. So I'm going to really closely look at that first shot. So pause again so that they're all going to fire at the same time. They've got the same crew equivalencies and all that sort of jazz. We're just going to tell them to auto fire. Same here, auto fire. And then same here. This looks like it's slightly off. As long as it's lined up, it should be fine. But auto fire. And away we go. First shot. You're not shooting. Why are you not shooting? Huh. Well, that's awkward. Okay. You guys just take a pause. Take a chill pill for a second. I don't want to re-record that. That'd be annoying. So, I'm just going to let you, take your shot. Take your shot, buddy. Take the damn shot. There we are. All right, cool. And we'll go back to pausing. It can get back in position and we'll restart that. But let's look at the results of that. First, our ridiculously extended maximum damage one. It has taken out 4 points of armor, turned it into structure with half value, and drastically damaged this one here. Now, armor takes 800 points, right? But I'm pretty sure, yep, it's got a penetration resist of 6 meters, as well as an area damage resist and a power drain for EMPs. But those hit points and penetration resist are kind of what we're interested in here. Next up, our 31, we've gone through 4 points of armor, and we've done a little bit of damage on that, but you can see visibly there is a big difference. I say even, it's 8 points, right? Then the armor block here is taken out 2 with a single or with an 8 round railgun. So we're actually seeing a fairly big difference, meaning, yeah, we do get extra damage, and I would say that we even get extra penetration at the higher levels. So if you're making a ship that's got railguns, then going to the maximum will pay off, assuming that you've got limitless budget. Maybe you can set constrained by budget or something along those lines, or there's some other factor. But, size does matter, everyone. All right, let's go and pause and set these back to infinite fire, and let's just see what the difference makes over time as well. We will just make sure that these are all restocked, all good to go. Let's unpause, normal speed. Okay, we've got another shot coming off. This is off to a bad start for some reason. It was slightly off target there, but that's fine. I think it's going to keep pace, if not outpace, our boy on the right here. All right, we'll speed up. Pew, 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 pew. And as you can see, we're not too many points off this, but we're a fair bit behind here. So the extra 8 units, this is gonna be our winner here in taking out the cockpit. That's now junk. These guys are far, far behind. Which leads me to my next question. Is there a difference in range, maybe? Maybe it's not all it cracks up to be range, and because we're looking at penetration resist here with these armor blocks, what does that mean? Maybe we're not getting the same penetration or something. So let's come back in a second and see what that means. Okay, and we're back. So the next thing to check out is penetration. Now, according to the tooltip, the base penetration for a railgun round is 15 meters. So that's 15 there. If we go back to the other tooltip on this guy, hang on, Yeah. You're not letting me select. What? Oh, hang on. I'm just moving things. Oh, that might be useful in terms of rotational sort of stuff, actually. Let's get those sorted out, right? I must have clicked a thing, though. There we are. We're back to control mode. Excellent. All right. So, yeah, says 15 meters here as well. So if we go back to trusty Excel and we look at the bus, then we start off with 15 meters. At 8, we should see 31. At 30, we should see 61. And at the 38, exactly. That's what's it's going to be about. So let's go back to our good old testing environment. And now we have different things to test on. This is all just corridor. It's plain old corridor. No penetration resistance on this guy. All it is hit points and ship. Now, I'd almost expect this to just kind of shoot clean through. That's kind of my wager here, but we'll see. So we've got you firing all the time. We've set these up as the enemy. We're going to go, actually, we're going to pause you all just so that you're definitely ready to shoot. We want that to be good. Yep, we're good at here as well. Some pause, make sure that they're all reloaded. We'll restock their resources as well. So they've all got ammo. And let's set them off to fire. Fire it infinitely. You fire infinitely. You fire infinitely. Let's see this first shot. Yep. Okay. So, our hefty boy on the left has fired the goddamn way through. It's still going. Like, I just want to keep following it, man. Oh, okay. That's all there is. That was a huge shot. Oh my god. Alright, it's still going. And this guy's gone all the way through. In the meantime, our 8 rail is keeping on going. Okay. So if we start zooming out as well, this I think can also form the basis for our range test as well. So these guys, when they fire, they're roughly analogous to each other. For some reason, this one is going a little bit further. I'm wondering if this is clipping something. But it might just be that they're slightly out of whack in terms of... This might be slightly further forward. Yeah, it looks like it. But yeah, it affects penetration, and it affects it in a way that you would expect it. But of course, armor resist and penetration means that this one just gets a little bit further and just does a little bit more damage, essentially. But once you actually get through that armor, it's going to shoot clean through. Honestly, most ships aren't going to be that far that an 8 isn't going to do most of the damage that you're probably going to be looking in that section. Because most ships will be sectioned out so that you can't do this sort of hijinks with them and shoot clean through the entirety of the ship here. But my conclusion here is, yeah, the math can be trusted. In fact, going beyond the math is a legitimate strategy here. And all it comes down to from now is cost effectiveness. So when we look at this ship, is it going to tell me how much of $1 million ship it is? Hang on, it's going to do it. It's going to do it somewhere. So it's a $1.4 million testing rail. If I go ahead and save this ship as well, save ship design, the testing rail 30, then it's a $1.2 million ship. And then the good old testing rail here, we'll just rename it quickly, testing rail 8, and then save this ship as well. Testing rail 8, there we are. Then it's a $400,000 ship. So when you're building these sort of things, you've got to consider bang for your buck. You've also got to consider the nature of rail fanning as well, because often you don't have a single rail. You usually have multiple rails and you pivot them so they're all firing at the same target and they just kind of burrow through like a tick. So this is still always going to outperform this, is still going to outperform this in terms of rail fanning if you can do it. But you might find that for, what was it? It was 1.4 million. We might be able to do a lot better than by doing several of these. In fact, let's test that now. And we're back again. Okay, so we've set up our 2 ships here. First, the testing rail has been duplicated to 3. So we have a $1.2 million ship here and a $1.4 million ship. So we've got 200,000 left over to do additional things with the testing rail. I've just duplicated the ship in its entirety as well, so if the structure broke here, you'd actually have independent railguns to fly around and do stuff with. Now, what I want to test here is rail fanning, right? So we want to see how good these guys go against their own armor blocks. So I'm going to select a particular target with these, and I'm going to say that the target is here on the armor block with this one, and I'm going to do roughly the same positioning on the armor block with this one. So as I rail fan, they should only fan to attack once that's in range, right? That's the idea. So we'll start off with our big boy here and we'll rotate and we'll get a single shot off. It's gonna fire and we've got those 4 blocks taken care of, which is about what we expected. Now this guy could only do 2 blocks before, but what we should see technically 6 blocks. These are a little bit far apart for normal rail fanning. They'd probably see the additional rail would actually be here instead. But I think with a bit of distance, we might actually see this to be a little bit more to the point. Or, yeah, let's do a retarget here. Actually, we're gonna repair on this one. We'll repair on this one. This is going to instead target this, right? And then these guys are just going to target a closer in block. I want them to be more focused further forward. Okay, so you should be recovered to be able to fire now, so we'll rotate back. It'll take the shot in a second. And yeah, it's pretty much done as expected again. And then we'll rotate on our other fan here. And we have a much bigger hole. In fact, it's performed as better on the single row and also taken out a little bit more armor. So what's this mean over time? Well, okay, we'll take the second shot and you can also then take the second shot. Now I'm going to assume whoever's operating these ships is perfectly rail fanning. So rail fanning to get the optimum fire rate here. Got the second shot there. We'll rail fan across here as well. 1, 2, 3. Cool. We'll wait a few seconds. I'm certainly not doing this with perfect timing in case you were wondering. We'll rail fan and now get the next shot off. I'm also going to tell it to retarget a little bit further down because we'll keep borrowing. And then we'll rail fan here again. Alright, we're still a little bit behind in terms of the burrowing, but we've made a much bigger hole. And if we have any friends, then they're going to be exploiting that hole in the armor with other types of weapons. Maybe we don't have friends though. Yeah. Alright, another shot. It's actually just widened it off at that point. We'll fan again here. Yep. Wait a few seconds. We're going to take turns taking shots until we get it done. Alright, I'm going to actually retarget a little bit further in here. Rail fan again. Oh, we missed it. I need 2 more shots. All right, back to your side. I mistimed it, just too impatient. I'll just speed it up. Okay, so shoot. Shoot. You need to retarget as well. Actually, let's just do this sort of targeting. Let's say we're lazy and we don't have the option of precision targeting all the time. Yeah, we're going to have a much wider wedge as a result. If you're this close when you're shooting with railguns, I feel pity for you though. Because our ship's dodging and weaving all about, and these armor blocks are moving as well as we hit it, it's not going back into position. That's why we're seeing some of this weird movement over here. Yeah, okay. I think that's enough. If I had limited funds and it was me playing, I would have designed the ship slightly differently. I wouldn't have had this huge gap between the rails, right? And I think in terms of my personal preference, then what I would be going for is the triple rail fan at 8 instead of the one massive one here. Because while yes, it can shoot clean through a ship, it's probably going to borrow, it's going to do less damage, and by this stage we should have hit someone's guns or something important with these guys and done a lot more damage, or have a lot more potential for damage just with the multiple shots. So that's my thoughts on railguns. Yes, we can trust the tables. If you want to design the ultimate railgun ship, then you can take up the entire grid with your railguns and you will have a good or better chance than just doing shorter ones. That of course assumes limitless money. If you don't have limitless money and or crew, then doing shorter ones and a lot more of them will probably net you better bang for your buck. Thanks for watching. My name is Pooks and I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.